Hi everybody and welcome back to Let's Play Tokyo Xanadu EX Plus. So last time out we all, the gang headed out to this hot spring, and we had, and the last time out we basically did some side quest stuff, not side quests, what the fuck am I talking about? We had some social link stuff to do, like friendship episodes, that's what they're called. I always forget what the name is because, you know, it's very similar to the social links in Persona. But yeah, so we did all the friendship episodes last week. Last part, rather. So yeah, in this part, we are starting off with the gang heading off to have some dinner. And this is the chapter where we... my words aren't working today. Sorry. But basically, this is this is the part, where we find out why on earth Mitsuki and Asuka have brought us out to this place. So we're going to find out what on earth's going on. Shio, you bath whore. And Yuki's ready to fall asleep. So yep, the knowing nod. And Toa knows about it as well. I don't think she knows exactly what they're going to talk about, but I think she knows that Asuka and Mitsuki want to talk to Ko and the rest about what's going to happen from here on out. And so, you know, Toa knows, okay, let's just get rid of you, shall we? So yep. There are some community issues that we need to discuss, so it's time for us to finally have that conversation about, you know, what now that everything's kind of settled down and we've beaten the massive grim greed from last time, it's now time to find out where everybody goes from here. So, June, Ryota, Shiori, Toa, fuck off. And Mr. Goro, if you could leave as well, please, mate. I appreciate it. See you later. Go kill yourself with nicotine. Anyway, time to chat. So yeah, we're finally going to go over... so we're going to go over everything all at once, which should be interesting. So what's the real purpose? So yeah, they're going to be talking to us about the Eclipse and about the future of what we're going to be and what we're going to be doing about it from here on out. And so yeah, this is where we get pretty much the this is where we pretty much get the big exposition dump about what everything is. Okay, so there was a great war 70 years ago. I will say this, I think this picture looks terrible. I think the artwork doesn't look particularly good, and it looks a bit kind of like a badly put together promo image. It doesn't really work all that well for me. Yeah, that's pretty much telling you there. We're not going to tell you everything about the Eclipse and what's going on here, but just so you know, it's a world. These phenomena have been not just here, but all over the world, and they have caused major disasters over time. Sorry. So yeah, and basically, then there came the when the eclipse started to be recognized as a major thing. Two groups formed. We got Zodiac, which is Mitsuki's group, and she's just said it. Whatever, and there's Asuka's group as well. My apologies. Fuck, my throat is not good today. So yeah, basically, and so with Zodiac, basically, Zodiac is basically a bunch of conglomerates coming together to basically try and get stuff out of the Eclipse, to try and find out what's going on with it and kind of use it for their own ends. And then there's Asuka's group, and their group is basically to just shut it down and completely stop it once and for all without it's all about stopping the phenomenon once and for all rather than using them for their own benefits and for supposedly the benefits of mankind and that kind of thing. So yeah, they still don't really know 100% what is causing this, but needless to say that the severity and the amount of incidents which have been happening has been escalating a lot recently over the last few months, and it's triggered what we dealt with the last full chapter, which was the Grim Greed, which could have led to a major catastrophe. So yeah, that major incident is not really the end of everything. It seems as if that there may be something even more powerful coming within the next few weeks. Yeah, more shit is coming, ladies and gentlemen. And it could get even worse from here, which is not good. Okay. So yeah, there's been a major event in the last few, at least one worldwide major event in the last decade, which they're going to talk about in a minute. It's the event which kind of Ko has kind of reminisced about over the past. Yep, so it's what happened 10 years ago that Ko was heavily involved in, the Tokyo earthquake. Turns out that it wasn't a natural disaster like an earthquake, sorry, and was instead instead was a major disaster which was caused by the eclipse, caused by a grim greed even more powerful than the one that we faced in the previous chapter. And yeah, Ko was one of the people who was caught up right in the middle of it. That's why he's been having, we've occasionally had these kind of what's the word I'm looking for? Had these flashbacks. Yeah, the Tokyo Twilight disaster. Certainly does. So yeah, Ko didn't know about this up until this point. He kind of, it's something that he's had to deal with, but he always thought that it was just a natural disaster, just an earthquake. But yeah, it turns out that that it was an eclipse event, which was caused by grim greed, that the Japanese government spent a lot of time kind of covering up, basically. So yeah, And that brings us to what they actually want us to talk about. And that is... So, yeah. The same things that happened in the lead up to that major event 10 years ago are now happening now and have been happening over the last few months. So that probably means that another sizable disaster similar to what happened 10 years ago when they had that massive earthquake or eclipse event. That means that it's something like that is going to happen again, or has the potential to happen again, and they want to try and deal with this. So, Asuka and Mitsuki have been allowed to kind of work together to form an Eclipse response team, which is going to be based at the high school. Sorry about that. So yeah, they're going to be setting up an after-school. Yeah, that's right. I got that right. There you go. It's Nemesis. But they're going to be setting up an after-school club as a front, and it's basically going to be a way for them to investigate the eclipses and the eclipse phenomenon while out in the open to try and stop a major disaster from happening. And what they're asking what they're asking here is they're asking the rest of the group here to kind of they want the rest of us to get involved with it and be equal partners with Asuka and Mitsuki. But of course, it's not going to be like it was before, because before it was just, you know, we were kind of along for the ride, and just happened to be kind of caught up in all this kind of crap. This time they're actually asking us, and it does mean that we're going to be... Sorry. This time it means they're going to ask us to be really throwing ourselves directly in the middle of it. And so what they want us to do now is they want us to really, really think carefully about what we want to do. Do we actually want to do this? Or is this kind of, you know, too much for us to handle? So, yeah. So there we go. Now at this point... So now the rest... so at this point now, we can actually... Well, one, we can go to Rion now, and we can actually conclude her friendship episode, which is kind of nice. But at this point now, we can go and talk to the rest of the group. So we can talk to Mitsuki, Yuki, Sora, Shio, and Asuka at this point. And you can go off and go and talk to all of them and kind of get where they're coming from, basically find out what they're all thinking of and whether they're likely to accept the offer that Mitsuki and Asuka put forward or not. But to be fair, you don't really have to, because what you can do here is you don't have to talk to everybody else if you don't want to. You can just go, I like that, dot to paper. Anyway, sorry. I'm thinking about something else. Anyway, you can go off and you don't have to bother to talk to everybody else if you don't want to. You can just go straight to Asuka, talk to her, and that will push the story along. So, yeah. But anyway, we're meeting up with Rion to kind of conclude our friendship episode with her, because you'll remember that basically she was in a meeting with the rest of Spiker, so we couldn't really talk to her then. So we have to get this had to get the story cutscene out of the way, and now we can basically talk to her. And actually, it's kind of interesting that basically the conversation that we have here with Rion is basically it's based around talking about Spiker and the divisions that are between that, you know, are between them, like the what's the word I'm looking for? The kind of one-upsmanship, competition. That's what between all the other members and her, which kind of leads, kind of really, which actually directly leads into the next main chapter of the game, chapter 6, because Rion and Spiker are kind of at the middle, in the middle of that kind of section, kind of a major part of that of chapter 6's story. Oh, you bitch! So close to maxing out Rion's rank. But anyway, so now let's go head off and chat to all the others and see what they're thinking. Well, was it really a change of subject, really? From everything that's been happening. I mean, I'm sure it must have been on everybody's mind as well, that what was going to happen after this, so... Yeah, and Mitsuki here is a bit of a... she's a bit of a mischievous one here, because she kind of keeps dropping little hints here and there to Ko about what's going on, you know, about, oh, there might be other factors at play, and, you know, I think she's quietly trying to sway his thoughts one way or the other. But to be fair, at this point, I think, you know, at this point anyway, Ko's kind of pretty much made up his mind about what he's going to be doing. So yeah, but yeah, with Mitsuki, it was kind of like a, you know, trying to push Ko into a certain direction. She's being a bit dodgy with it, to be fair. But anyway, let's talk to Yuki. Let's see what he's thinking about all this. I just happened to, you know, show up. I wasn't eavesdropping. Honest. So yeah, Yuki has already made his decision. And this is kind of interesting, actually, because Yuki is one of the members of the team that we're speaking to, who's actually made up his mind. His reasoning for... I'm sorry if you hear dogs in the background, but his reasoning is basically that this is a really good chance for him to find out what's going on with the like, because Zodiac does a lot of things with technology, and, you know, he's a bit of a technology nerd, and so he's got a very kind of, if you like, self-serving, if you could put it that way, you know, a very self-serving kind of attitude, which is basically, I want to do it because this is the one chance I'm going to get to really see this kind of modern technology up close. And as Ko mentioned to him, with his hands shaking, you know, he's doing it even though he's kind of scared of what's going to happen next. So he still wants to do it, even if it is for kind of selfish reasons to a certain extent. Sorry. Whereas with Sora here, she's, you know, really thinking long and hard about it. Like, she's really thinking about, you know, because she will have to take this seriously now. So, can she really handle all of this shit? Can she really deal with it all? And, be helpful, I guess is the best way of putting it. So yeah, Sora is kind of it's kind of the one of the group who's really giving it a lot of hard thought, because she doesn't really want to I'm sorry. My throat fucking sucks. But yeah, she's the one who's kind of really thinking long and hard about it, because she really doesn't want to. She wants to really help, but she doesn't want to kind of be a burden, or, doesn't want to make stupid mistakes. And then you've got Shio, and Shio is basically already decided that he's going to be doing it whatever it takes, because he wants to do it for his friend Kazuma, and for Aki as well. He wants to try and, protect the city, because of the fact that he wants to, he wants to protect the city in order to live up to the legacy of his friend who he cared about so much. So it's kind of a more noble kind of reasoning for Shio. And it's kind of interesting how Ko also talks about how, he's kind of affected by Shio's reasoning as well, and he kind of wants to live up to Shio's thought processes. He wants to kind of live up to what Shio wants to do as well, which I think is kind of nice. But anyway, that's it for this part. Join me next time for the next part of Tokyo Xanadu EX Plus, when we're going to be continuing the story, and we're going to be talking to Asuka and get her thoughts on all this. And it's a bit of an interesting moment, one of the more interesting parts of the game. So I'll see you next time for the next part of Tokyo Xanadu EX Plus. See you next time.